so the love's gone. I bump it in, I'm getting to the rhythm. No friends out here, we turn the stage lights out. I'm at the finish line, and then we miss y'all. You hit the top, shout out Huddle, figure the wrist off. I let it go when it's lift out. Talking about me, y'all when it ain't make the list, it's got them all pissed off. Call me Kevin Helms, I was brought in to win. Word to West, Buckles making drag racing great again. I like my racing in straight lines, stay in my lanes. Quit my day job and chase the world like I'm Pelican. Or I'm switching gears like I'm chick with a stick. Or stand a man, their margaritas got you feeling it. I'm talking woosah, by you boys do it big. Crawfish and Wally, shout out to Craig Bourgeois. You wanna make it in a song and do the Justin Lamb. Win a bunch of races and you do it with the fam. You do the Kevin Brandon, lay the smack across the land. Then you do the L-Ride and you come out like the world champ. You've been waiting all winter long, hearing them go on and on, just so you can prove them all wrong. Only thing that matters is who turns the big and on. This thing on your mind when you wake, and you've been waiting on this thing all day. This is where champions are made. Let them all talk, baby, haters gonna hate. Everyone trying to doubt you, huh? Better get off them. All this black and yellow like I'm born to be a Coughlin. They think they got you, then stop them. And if you ain't smoke them, did you really even drive them? You think you locked them up? You know nasty Nick. Drop the nose, take the stripe. Nah, that's the trick. We all have the same thing in common, let me tell them. Object of the game, reel them in and drop them on they melon. You are talking at the track, keyboard race is absurd. We talking street outlaws, then bird is the word. If we talking alcohol, then we talking Yanni Lindbergh. Talking hotties that can drive Musi, Ashley Sandberg. The real queen of this thing is double-E-double-O. I call him Shaker, you call him Joey Santangelo. Wanna lock it in, 5K and we can go. We don't hear him now, but things was all good just so we could go. You've been waiting all winter long, hearing them go on and on, just so you can prove them all wrong. Only thing that matters is who turns the big and on. This thing on your mind when you wake, and you've been waiting on this thing all day. This is where champions are made. Let them all talk, baby, haters gonna hate. Trophies and Happy Gilmore checks, loose rock are paying it. Judging by the winners, they tell who's up next. I just happen to be one of them, just in case you wanna check my ranks. And this is the way of life, you're yelling, be somebody. If you want that money, be double-O. And if you want that trophy, take double-O. And if you wanna be a winner, be double-O. And if you wanna be a champ, take double-O. Be double-O, take double-O. Be double-O, take double-O. Be double-O, take double-O. Be calm, be double-O, take double-O.
Welcome back to the B00 Take 00 show. This is our second post-race. It's Fuel Factory Friday post-race show. We're here with Austin St. Dennis, and I apologize, I didn't catch your name. What is it? Nicole is with us as well. And Nicole, are you Austin's significant other? Fiance. Congratulations. We're going to talk a little bit about the day. We're going to get into all that. But before we do that, if you're watching with us live on YouTube, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Even if you're not watching live, you're watching this post-haste, you can hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, don't forget to hit that subscribe. Leave us a review. Let your friends know. Obviously, tonight it's 12:55. It is late, but we are doing the post-race show nonetheless, because in NASCAR they don't stop, and at TB Promotions we don't stop. So we're going to get into it. Let's talk a little bit. We've got Austin and Nicole here, so let's talk with you guys. Tell us a little bit about your day. Obviously, we talked in the winner's circle, but tell me how you're feeling right now.
Still haven't come down from the high, that's for sure. I don't know. It's just one of those days where everything fell the right way. I mean, every round. Whether it was luck or I was making a good run, it's one of those days where you just feel like everything aligned perfectly.
It's going to fall your way,
yeah.
right? The ones you just staged with enough confidence, like, even if I did mess up, it seems like it's still going to just keep coming on. Yeah.
I mean, I had back-to-back 30s, so I'm like, it's working. I don't know.
You know, I think that's the thing that we talk about is like when it's your – I always like to say when it's your day, your day. And obviously Tyler's a little different. His thing's like, no, we create our days. Is that right?
In a way, yes. But, you know, the one thing I guess that you don't really control is where you pull out in line. But from there, you know, I feel like once you get in the line, no matter what, I think everybody judges. You know, they race to the opponent to a sense, right? Even if you don't, you kind of do. And, you know, I think that could goes both ways, good and bad. And, you know, making it fall your way and stuff like that comes from that part of it and the strategy for the opponent versus. But when you pull in line, you can't really control that. But I do feel like from there you're able to mess.
No, 100%. I think that's kind of like I said, where my feeling is I'm always like, you know, when I was younger, I felt like I couldn't be beat. These people can't beat me. I'm beating myself. As I've gotten older, I still feel the same very sentiment of like, I can't be beat. I'm beating myself. I'm a very like, I take responsibility for things that aren't my responsibility. I'm very like that kind of approach to it. And I think racing's the same way. But for you today, you know, obviously you've been watching your dad do this for a long time. This is your first big 50. What's that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, it's one of those races where 20 years ago, that was like the most sought after race the whole year. You know, like when my dad won in 04 in Michigan, that's like one of the biggest ones of the year. Nowadays, it's like a warm-up race, you know, it's unfortunately, but there definitely is still prestige behind it, and getting a big check and the huge trophy and the winner's circle and the interviews. And I mean, and you guys are one of the top promoters in the game for sure. So,
you know, talking to me. I would love to say that I'm a top promoter, but I have made it abundantly clear, and I'm going to bring this point up now because it's a great segue. I have made it abundantly clear that I, PJ North, PJ Fouts, whatever you know me as, I do wear a TB promotion shirt. I, however, do not work in that capacity. So don't come to me if you spun. Don't come to me for your buyback problems. Don't come to me for your concerns with the time runs. Do not come to me if you can't let go. I am not your guy. I have no sentiment. I have no sympathy. I do not care. I am head of TV media, I told Brian today, and that's how I'd like to stay.
Today he said, dude, I'm the TV guy.
I felt like we're just going to talk a little bit about the race, but it was early. It happened. Look, today was not only was it hot, but it was also like sticky out. It's a lot of things. We are in the middle of July at Bowling Green, Kentucky. So the track, obviously things are happening. A lot of stuff's going on, but it's like you're already angry because it's hot. And then something happens, which is whatever, right? But again, people coming to me because I had a shirt on. I told Brandon Taylor, I said, look, brother, I can direct you where to go. You can either find the turnoff down there or you can find the exit ramp that way. My guy, I am not your guy you want to talk to. I know Brian's ready to kill me.
Meanwhile, on opposite ends of the spectrum, a racer today who I love, great guy, and we worked it out in the end. But before he turned off the racetrack, he had called my phone twice.
I just don't know if you're going to get that anywhere else.
No, and you know what? Like, part of me appreciated it.
The important question is, did you answer?
I did answer the second one. The first one, I was like, there ain't no way. Ain't no way. And I literally look at my phone.
We're about to have a Zach Smith issue.
Up, and I mean, I'm looking at the taillights on his car. And I'm like, nah. And I sat over to the side, and I looked down, and it's ringing again. I look up. I'm like, he's turning off. I'm like, all right, I'll answer.
You know what? That might be the guy. And I think that's the fun. You know, that's the best thing about TV promotions, I think, and then my relationship with Tyler and Brian that I noticed from the outside looking in, like you said, being two of the best in the sense of, like, not only are they listening to racers, right? And you have Tyler, who's the face in the sense of, like, racers feel comfortable talking to him, and Brian from a business perspective, understanding what it does take to make this thing go, which really plays into that. And like you said, you know, the OG50, when your dad won, I remembered your dad winning the OG50. It's cool that now you're like, man, we're doing the Fuel Factory warm-up Thursday, you know, Friday winter, and now you've got a 50K check. So let's get back to you. When, first off, the Cutlass is obviously a cool hot rod. Do you drive that most of the time?
Right now, I sold my dragster last May. Okay. Knew I wanted to go. It's kind of my run-a-ride. I have a first-gen Nova that we're fixing up right now. It's in primer, ready for paint, and then once it's painted, a little bit.
See, that's what I like. We get a little insight to what else they got going on. You know what I mean?
That means that Cutlass is still possibly for sale.
Okay.
Everything's for sale.
Okay. I like that because I don't think I can afford it.
I don't know if I believe. You know, how long did it take your dad to sell that T-Bird? Was it always for sale, or he just was like, all right, I'm going to put it for sale?
It was never for sale. Brian Campbell, great friend.
Yeah, you know, we've been kind of thinking that it was still y'all's this whole time, and finally in Martin he said something to me. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, it's kind of funny, actually. Like, I like it. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't even know my dad was going to sell that car that weekend. I was at bracket finals, and I open Facebook and I'm scrolling, and Amanda Campbell posts a video of like a reveal of them having the car. I'm like, oh, all right, guess it's gone.
You know what I would do if I got on Facebook and saw a picture of my dad's Corvette and somebody said that they bought it?
Bruh, that might be real talk. That'd be a great punked episode. Tyler B gets punked.
I don't even know what would happen. I can't even come up.
Can't even fathom that feeling. That's a great way to put it, man. Like I said, we talked just a little bit about this, but naps early on in the day obviously is a huge part. And look, dude,
That's a Chuck Bohannon thing too.
that checks out.
Yeah, that's what Chuck Bohannon would do.
Well, Austin is a
But I also don't normally.
50-year-old
he does it
man
every
now.
day. He did it when he was 35, dog.
Super stocked to
Look
the
at Lady
lanes.
Lanes,
That's a funny thing. Do you feel like you race like your dad? We talk about our dads a lot, obviously, on the show. Do you feel like you race like your dad?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, I was around him growing up. I tried to mimic everything he was doing. But when I got in the dragster, I quickly realized that you got to learn how to drive the finish line, and especially the dragster class. So that's where I would say he probably that wasn't his forte, was the finish line. And then, I mean, the last few years, I mean, I don't want to call him out, but he's been asking me for advice on the finish line. It's like, I ask him for advice everywhere else, so
Was there ever a point, so this is the point that I've been in with my dad for like years, where there's a point in like racing where you get to where you kind of get old enough where you realize your dad's not really wrong that often. And so you're like, you realize that like you go to him no matter what, even if you're making all your own decisions, you kind of look for that reassurance. Mm-hmm. And that point where they like just sit there and kind of look at you. And finally, I asked my dad once, I said, give me something. And he's like, well, you're better at this than I am. And I'm like, whoa. That ain't what I wanted to hear. I just wanted you to tell me, yeah, I agree. That's all I needed. That reassurance that you never realized you had the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then when it's like, what?
Yeah.
But
you take for granted what they know growing up.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that
we've been talking in depthly about our fathers specifically. Like, man, we wish they would have taught us a few different things like that. So it's funny that you say take that for granted, because we just had that conversation pretty in depthly about that, like how we feel. That's not my dad's fault. This is my fault. Like, I wish I would have taken, him still being around, obviously, but not being able to fab stuff. I wish I would have like watched him fab that stuff so that I didn't have to take it somewhere to get my car fabbed on. But it's cool that you get to race with your dad still. Is he going to race this weekend? What's his plan?
I told him in the final, I said, regardless of the outcome, I'll put you in tomorrow. I don't care.
I'm good.
Yeah,
you're like me. You're like me. Once you win, it don't matter what they pay tomorrow. I'm good. I
say that all the time, baby.
I can't do this again. Good. That's how I feel about myself.
Unless you're Mikey Bloomfield.
Well, yeah. And that's, man, we ain't even going to go down that road. I'm going to talk shit about Mikey, and it's just going to be.
We ain't got to do all that.
No.
We can leave it on a positive.
I guess speaking of your weekend and your dad racing or whatever, I've known Nicky Formosa for, I don't know, 10 or 12 years racing
No,
slot
I was
cars.
going to say you've known him longer than that.
It's probably maybe 15. I don't know.
Dude, I've known Nicky Formosa for at least 12 years, and I've been to like 5 slot car races my whole life.
It's probably close to 20 years, and I'm only 27.
He's unforgettable.
Yeah. But I remember when he first started coming around, I was like, who in the hell is this man right now? And as you get to know him, he makes a lot more sense. But I really like Nicky, and but interesting, like a unique character, I guess. But where did that relationship start or come from?
So after my dad sold the T-Bird, he found a 66 Nova, local, gray.
I know. Yep.
Now Nicky owns it. John Lee drives it. That's where that relationship built. My dad did not.
It's all
want to
making
sell
sense
it.
now.
Did not want to sell it. He kept telling him no. He kept coming back with higher price, and eventually, he just.
Sounds exactly like Nicky. He used to do it on slot cars, and I don't know. Like I said, just a unique guy. And then I guess once you did that deal, he just kind of goes from there. And he is a great, and he's always that guy too. Like, he's gonna own the car, but Nicky really doesn't care, to drive. He likes kind of having a horse in the race, and he does Does he still do the same thing? He had a dirt car. Or,
So he owned or ran Nashville Speedway at the fairgrounds, correct?
See,
that's like his family deal, like in some capacity. And so, yeah, he's always had a dog in the race. You didn't know
that
that?
makes sense. No, I got one.
okay.
I got 3 of them right here. Actually, I'm good.
I know he was in the NASCAR world for
Yeah,
a
and
long
he
time.
still messes with it some, and like I don't know. Like I said, I mean he just added the the speedway or whatever. Like
Yeah, there's some connection to the Nashville Speedway at the fairgrounds. I do know that.
interesting guy.
He's great. He also has he has a really great collection of slot cars. I don't know if he still did, but like the last time I saw him,
Yeah.
he had a great collection of slot cars.
He had a Don Ness Beretta at one time.
He's been talking about that today, actually.
Yeah,
It's funny
so
you
we
said
bought that car,
Okay.
and
Oh, that's right, the blue one.
yeah, I went 475 in that thing the first time I dropped a hammer, and I was squeezed in it like this. And I'd never been that fast in a door car, but I mean it was smooth as glass. And I, racing slot cars with Nicky, I mean I didn't know he came from the circle track world at the time. I'm thinking this thing might go for a ride. I don't even know, but I mean glass smooth. And then as I learned
Yeah,
more
you come
about
to
Nicky,
find
I'm like,
out
yeah,
that
that makes more
Nicky's
sense.
very
He way smarter than he shows you, and I think he's a.
It's
I
a
like
trap.
him. I like him, man.
Well, I love that he put you in.
He was working on our suspension on the Cullis today because we're fighting it. It'll go straight one run and a little left the next, and nothing's really adding up. So we're making tweaks and changes, but.
What an absolute line to just drop right here. Yeah, man, we were working on today's, I don't
was
know, it would
jacked
not
up,
run,
like
and then I
3
just went out and won the
miles
50K, like, it's whatever. What just nonchalant answer.
Dude, I'm over here in my logbook doing notes down to like the 1,000ths, okay, of what I think I
So
can.
you're
Like
changing
my
the
brain
flow.
is fried. If somebody like tightens a bolt on my car, I'm like, damn, what's that worth? Like that's what this shit is. Like. They're over here just tweaking on
Making
it.
changes
you
on the
know?
pro stock.
Yeah.
Does that car have any bump steer in it? Because it's obviously an old pro stock style thing. Or is it just like straight bracket? I mean, 522 is fast also. Those cars work a lot better when they're moving fast. Is there stuff that you've noticed where you're like, I can't even believe it's like kind of trick stuff about that thing where you're like, I didn't even know it did that? Like, I feel like that would be like they're making a change today on a 4-lane bar. You know what I mean?
I would say the funny thing about those cars is I think those are just old enough. But they kept them pretty simple.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, but for the time, I mean, it was pretty trick.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. They're not double frame rail cars.
No, it's
right?
a 4-link deal, right?
Well, I think
Or you
they,
mean, double frame.
yeah, they
okay,
just stiffened them up later on,
Sure.
and they used to out of them. I remember, around that time, like once one of the pro stock guys got them, they would cut certain bars out of them.
That's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to ask some questions for Nicole. Nicole, you've joined us, and I just want to ask a few questions. One, how long have you been around the racetrack? Is that just with Austin, or have you been around racing forever?
Just with Austin, pretty much since last summer was like my first
Incredible.
season. We didn't really race a whole lot. Well, he didn't race. I come and support. I make dinner, but
Hey, you don't understand how far that goes. My wife now is, she said never been to the racetrack, obviously. And the first time I'm like, hey, I've bought a race car in Boise, Idaho, and we're going to drive across the country and we're going to pick it up. And then I take her to the racetrack. We got an open trailer. Luckily, I've got two friends out there, the Maziers, and they took care of us that day. But I was like, it's pretty much not like this ever. So then we come back home, and I take her to St. Louis, and I've got the open trailer. And she's just like, I don't know about all this, bro. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll get an enclosed trailer. So now I've got an enclosed trailer that's slightly better. And she's like, I love going to the track with you, but like, could we get a few amenities? And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get some AC for us. So we're working on a trailer or a motorhome.
The amenities we have very low, so we don't have to do much.
What can I say? But yeah, I think it's really cool. So you obviously have been introduced to it from that. What are your thoughts on a night like tonight?
it's amazing. I mean, I'm just really proud of Austin. I was telling him how I'm just in awe of how calm he can stay the whole day. It's just nothing phases him. He's the most calm person I've ever met. I think that's what kind of makes us work because I'm very high strung.
What an electric man.
He's
dude.
not
I love
so. Just seeing him not get himself worked up and just get at it, and he works really hard, and we're all really proud of him. So
I love
it's
that.
exciting.
She's just like, hey, I'm cracked out, and he's just like the calmest human being of all time. I love that. All right, what did you cook today for the team?
barbecue pulled pork sandwiches.
Wow.
Just in the crock pot.
Super
It was
rude they didn't
crazy.
bring you to the tower, but whatever.
Nah, but I bet we can find where they're parked tomorrow.
By
Yeah,
God.
we got some left.
It's it's the funny about him staying calm thing. Me and Brian were pairing cars at 11. Well, Brian had already paired all the cars. I just showed up and I had a ladder in my hand, and Bryson was next to us. And he gets out of his car. Me and Brian are talking, and Bryson said, "You boys get a beer yet?" I said, "No. Before the finals, maybe, but at 11 cars, come on now." He goes, "Oh, y'all taking this serious?" My man's on about 11 for 50, and he don't even know it. Like at this point,
I get it, man.
Yeah, but he just don't care, And people are so different about the way they approach it, and that's what we talked about. Like at 11 with the ladder, I couldn't even explain what it was. Just it wasn't Troy Williams, Gary Williams. It wasn't nobody you'd ever heard of. It was a very good mix of like every walk of life of racing. Jeff Serra was in there, Cody Basham, who was on the bot 11. I believe Jody's his dad.
Yeah, because it threw me off. Everybody kept calling
Yeah.
Cody.
Oh, you were thinking it was Jody the whole time.
Brother, I got to the door, and I'm about to interview this kid, and everyone's like calling him Cody, and I'm like, this door says Jody. Bro, I don't know if they've been lying to me.
I have against that car. Like, I've seen that car at US 60 Dragway since I was 7 years old. And, now I run the place, and I still see it every week. But Jody and his son Cody, who had a great night tonight, every Friday night they're there. It's not like, they're on the road traveling a lot. But this is close. And honestly, I was surprised to see him here.
Yeah.
I've raced with him a long time. And Jody I don't think he really ever cared to go race for big money. He raced on Friday nights. But to come out here and have a week, a day like this, and
yeah, I thought it was
especially
a really
in that
good
car, it's
eclectic
cool.
mix of people in the race as well too, which I really love. And I love obviously Door Car Dragster Final. We love that. That plays well to the fans at home. You know what I mean? Gives people opportunity. But
and the fact that today, there was a handful. The 150-degree racetrack separates you've got great cars, good cars, and whatever. Most racetracks all year long you won't see the difference between the great and the good. Days like today separate the great from the good. And, to see a 520 door car win on a day like that, as a promoter, that helps your feelings a little bit too. So
did it ever get to you? What were your thoughts on the racetrack today? Look, you can be as, transparent. Don't feel, there's no hurt feelings.
I'll just be up front. I think every run but one was going at 518.
That's great, because when that thing took off, like you were saying earlier about sometimes it would go left or whatever, when it did, I would walk down the race control. Jeb, what are you thinking, buddy? You want to, what do you think about this racetrack? It's still good, and I'm like wigging out a little bit. Okay.
And the crazy thing is, even though it was doing that, it was an inconsistent how it was leaving. The 60-foot moved like 3,000 all day.
That's just race car shit.
There was one where it slowed up. I think that was like the day to night transition.
Okay.
Understandable. So, it looked bad from the outside. It felt bad from inside, but on paper, that car was...
Yeah, we love that. And look, I said this to Tyler, too, and I've said this to a lot of people. And Mark, our Motor Mania guy, mentioned it as well, is that, gone are the days of, like, tuning your car to the racetrack. I've been very blessed. I grew up at a racetrack where we ran the racetrack, and, like, I was very brash at that time where I just didn't believe if your car didn't go, like, that's on you, my guy. I've never driven anything that didn't work. So I've never had to worry about that. So, like, I'm probably not the right guy ever to ask when someone tells me to, because I have zero sympathy in that moment. I'm like, dude, my Super Stocker launches at 5,800 RPM. The first time we go to US 60, we're obviously going to support our guy. We get there, and I can't get down the racetrack, right? But I'm not, like, my thing is, like, hey, man, we're here to support. It is what it is. Yes, did I lose money? Do I care? Like, it does not matter.
To me.
What?
I'm mad you didn't. At the
that
time, I was
right?
like, damn, why you say mad?
Nah, dude, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand, and Brandon put it in perspective as well, Taylor, when I was talking to him. He's like, we do spend a lot of money, and I get that too. And I was like, I get both sides. My thing is just like, I have this weird, that's like a cold part of my heart where I'm just like, I have zero sympathy in that moment, because I do believe that's the truest form of drag racing, of what we do, is like, a little bit of variable. I'm not here for a practice tree race. I like to see a little effort. I'm not saying it's good, but
We've talked about that with racetracks in general, but I do think there's a difference between July when you're doing this. If it's October and I'm sending cars down on top of each other that are all over the road or something, that's
yeah.
Or like, hey, I'll be honest, last year when we fought rain at this race more times than not, and it had rained and we went back to racing with the 10 cars that remained, and it was, the dragsters struggled and were 2, 3, 4 over and came up and said something, and those moments suck. But this is you kind of come to expect this from July. We've done it at St. Louis. We've done it everywhere.
July's just a tough month anywhere.
And it's just one of them deals. I think that's where you see the great and the good.
Yeah, I agree.
And you were great tonight. Well, man, we're not going to take up too much of your time. We're going to let you go. Is there anything else you want to say here? Like I said, this is your opportunity. This is our live podcast that we do every week. This is our second post-race show we've done. We're really enjoying it. But is there anything else you want to mention before you go?
Yeah, completely forgot about it in the winner's circle. I have to thank my fiance Nicole.
I'm bad about it too, but it's okay.
I mean, I'm so focused on the question of who you have to thank, the car and everything. My dad, Nikki.
Nicole, I apologize. I didn't bring it up.
No, it's okay.
My dad.
I have to. I don't expect it by any means.
My dad won the U.S. Nationals. I've thanked everybody but my mom.
Damn. I didn't even make it. I'm doing my own.
Yeah, I forgot that one too.
I did my own winner circle interview for my for my racing videos last time I won. I thanked everybody. I told Casey, I was like, damn, I try to mention everybody because it's such a thing, but like I do forget sometimes. No one's ever said anything because I think that's the cool thing about racing is like we're also. I think they know. Like if I would have never said Tyler's name anytime ever, he would know because we talk every day. But like that's a funny thing you think when you're like, damn, I completely forgot.
Yeah. I mean, and I think we all know there's so many people that help us.
You'll
with this
never get
stuff.
to all of them.
You're not going to get everybody, and that's no offense to anybody that's left.
Yeah.
It's heat of the moment, cameras on you, microphone in your face. You're thinking of.
Oh, and I'm shoving that microphone in there. I'm gonna make him talk one way or the other.
Oh, and he is bad about that. I mean, I used to sit in school and think about if I won this race, what I would say. And then every time that moment's come, I forgot all of that.
Look, I've got a running saying. They better not let me win a national event because they're going to bring that camera down there. I'm going to be on the hood of my car, helmet still on, bring me my trophy because I already know what I'm going to say. I got it. I've been writing it for 20-some years, you know what I mean? But no.
The problem is I know that's true.
Congratulations again, Austin. Thank you guys so much. Nicole, thank you for joining us as well. This is the Fuel Factory Friday post-race. Tyler, anything else you want to talk about before? We can let them go, actually, too, if they don't want to hang around.
I got one more question for me.
All right, shoot it. Go ahead, too.
Do you like racing?
I like coming, but I'm never gonna get in a race car.
Wow.
That's exactly what my mom said.
I love being here. I love seeing Austin happy and doing what he loves to do. But
Man,
I won't.
my wife says the same thing, but she wants a faster golf cart.
Yeah, well, we need
Golf cart.
good shopping.
Damn, I can sell you
Dude,
one
here
right
we
now. It's just not
go.
very fast.
Like he said, I really appreciate it, and it was cool to watch because you guys have not only supported a lot of our races, but I've raced around y'all, and that's the cool part from my perspective is that I get to race with you guys on a weekly basis and then do this part. So always kind of rooting for those guys. So
Yeah.
but great job.
Well, thank you guys so much, and thank you for the folks who joined in. We got 20+ viewers who jumped in at 1 a.m. in the morning to listen to us chat. Obviously, this will probably get 1,000+ listeners across our channels. Thank you guys again, obviously, for joining us. It is Fuel Factory Friday post-race show here on the BE00TAKE00 show. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you all. Austin, Nicole, your whole family, thank you guys. We will be back tomorrow. Obviously, we're going to talk the 100K shootout. We're going to talk to, maybe some guys who are still in on Sunday. We got Mosier Engineering 50K. We've got
You got
the
a
Law
special
Chevrolet.
outfit to wear tomorrow?
What is it?
You got a special outfit picked out for tomorrow?
What would you like me to wear?
Oh, don't worry about it. Megan's already getting
okay.
it.
Yeah, I figured
What'd you
as much. We might be able to do that. Well, thank you guys again.